I know that it's been a really long time since I've done a video, but lately I've been having a lot of mental health issues, although I've been noticing in the last year or so, I have been getting a lot better. So I was thinking I'd try to do a video, and if you can't tell, I dyed my hair, which a year ago I would not have been able to sit still for 2.5 hours. And I was even and I wasn't like normally when I would have to sit still for long periods of time, I would end up having a meltdown towards the end of it. Whereas I even let her do an extra 5 minutes of curling it, so that's definitely something I wouldn't be able to do last year. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Trying to think of other things that I've done. I've also been getting a lot better at giving myself credit for things. Whereas normally I'm one of those people that I was always kind of a negative Nancy, I guess. I think that's the term. I always was one of those people that if I did something good, I would always focus on the mistakes I made instead of the progress I made. But I've gotten a lot better at focusing on the positive instead of the negative. Which last year I was not good at that. Actually, I'd say that's only been a thing that I've started doing in the last few months. And I've also gotten a lot better at realizing that bad things happen and it doesn't mean the universe is against you, even though sometimes it feels like it is. It really feels like it is sometimes. I'm trying to focus. This is one of the moments that I feel like sometimes the universe is against me because it is literally almost 5 a.m. where I am, and I have not slept. And I haven't been sleeping much lately, honestly, so I apologize if I'm a little bit rambly. And I'm not really good at editing, so I'm probably not gonna edit this. So we'll see if I post it. But, I'm getting lost. This is my ADHD brain. For those of you that don't know, I'm on the autism spectrum, I have ADHD, and I also have an intellectual disability. For those of you that don't know what that is, it basically means that mentally I'm a lot younger than my actual age. I actually am in my basement right now. I think I might have the report card here from when I got testing done in London, Ontario. Apparently on there I scored my IQ score was 77 out of 100. And it was very specific on the report card. It said 10 years and 3 months is my age mental capacity, which was very specific. But I think the reason that I've been having a hard time posting is mostly because, well, I am very camera shy. I get embarrassed very easily. It's very easy for me to feel embarrassed. So I actually made several videos that I just never ended up posting because I got embarrassed. So I actually have been making videos for a while, I just haven't felt confident enough to post them. And also because YouTube could be very interesting with what they allow and what they don't, so, I don't want to post something and then have YouTube get mad at me. But kind of what I've been wanting to do is I want to build up my following a bit more. So I want to try to start posting a little bit more frequently because I think my issue was when I first started posting is that I just wasn't confident enough in my abilities and in myself. Although when I saw how many views my first video got, that did give me quite a confidence boost. It's just been, again, I don't know what I'm allowed to post and what I'm not, so I have made other videos talking about other stuff, I just haven't posted them. But, I did realize that I tend to have conversations with myself as if I'm talking to a camera a lot of times when I don't sleep. So I realized it might be better because what I've been doing is I have been making videos of me just going on random rants to myself, but I've just never posted them. And I don't even know how long it's been since I posted. I think it's been about a year. But that was because of mental health reasons as well as confidence reasons. But I'm hoping that, honestly, if my sleep schedule stays the way it is, I might end up posting a bit more. Because I tend to talk a lot more and go on rants a lot more. I might even try to do like a series even, like of just me going on like rants and stuff. Try to build up a following. Might try to build up a following. And then maybe if I get to a certain amount of subscribers, I might try to do a Q&A. I've kind of been having a lot of plans in my head because I'm one of those people that is a huge future thinker. I always think way too deep into the future to the point that I get disappointed a lot, but you know, it's something I'm dealing with. My brother does it too. So, actually, now that I think about it, I'm the only one in my family that is diagnosed as neurodivergent. However, come to find out, I think my whole family is neurodivergent. Because I was looking at a video, I don't remember the YouTuber's name, but I believe he was on the autism spectrum and he did 68 signs of autism. I think it was hidden signs or something like that. My mom was in the room when I was listening to that video and she said to me, "Bridget, I think I'm autistic." And then we were listening to it a bit more and she's like, "Bridget, I think your brother is autistic." Because I realized because at the very least my mom has ADHD. She definitely has ADD, that's for sure. I mean, you can't have a conversation with her without her randomly changing the topic. I'm trying to think of a good example that isn't gonna totally ruin this video. Like if we're talking about dog walking, because that's what I like to do. I like to walk dogs. If we're talking about dog walking, all of a sudden she'll go to, "What do you want for dinner?" Or something as random as that has nothing to do with dogs. And there was nothing leading up to her bringing that up whatsoever. And honestly, I hate it when she does that, but I've realized over time that I kind of do the same thing. So that's kind of what made me lead to the fact that she at the least has ADHD, although considering the list that we were listening to of signs of autism spectrum disorder, she meets quite a lot of those. Actually, a lot more than I would have thought. And she never got tested, so my mom might, and it's genetic. It is genetic, you know. Don't pay attention to what other people say. It is genetic. It's not caused by anything. Nothing causes it. There's no Tylenol that you take when you're pregnant that causes it, or there's no like vaccines that cause it. It is a genetic condition, which means most likely if you have it, somebody in your family also has it, or multiple people in my case. So, like, for example, my mentor, I'm just gonna say his first name, Ethan, he is a social worker, and he has not been diagnosed, but he definitely has ADHD and autism. As somebody who has them, he definitely has it. Because one of the traits of autism is they have terrible senses of humor, which both him and my mom meet that. That's one of the signs that my mom has, is she has a terrible sense of humor. And Ethan also repeats himself a lot, so that's another one. And he gets distracted really easily. And puns galore. He makes way too many puns. Although, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I feel like it would be kind of boring, even though every time he makes a ridiculous pun, I say there are a million reasons why I hate you. Or I just give him a look. He knows if he gets that look, he knows that it's time to shut up. But, it's kind of a little bit hard because actually just this past Tuesday, I found out that I'm not going to see him after next Tuesday, so. Because the program that I go to, where I work with him, he's leaving, so that's a bit upsetting. Because I really like him. If I'm being honest, though, it was another mentor at that camp because if I'm being honest, I've been going there since 2010, so I was 7 when I started going there. I'm 22 now. And when I started going there, I loved it. I went from going 1 week in the summer to going to 2 days during the school year. So they're out of the box program, which is the program I go to now, which basically runs throughout the school year. It runs just the week or 2 weeks after the school year starts, all the way to the end of June. And basically what the program is it's supposed to give both school-age children a place to go where outside of school, like for example, if they have a hard time existing in a school setting, it gives them they have an educational setting, which is, I started going to that version of the program when I was 12, so, and then but up to that point, I only went to their summer program, so it was 2015, so for 5 years, I only went 1 or 2 weeks for summer, and then I started going to their out of the box, and then went 1 or 2 weeks for summer that year as well. And then eventually I realized I loved it so much that I started going five weeks in the summer, but it is very expensive. It was a lot cheaper back then. Back then I believe it was only $150 per day. Now it's $200. But my benefits covered it back then. And I didn't go to the out of the box program because we needed all the money to pay for summer camp. And then in 2018, I started going to the out of the box program again, but that was only because the school board was paying for me to go, because I was not in school at that time, which was really frustrating. And it was no fault of my own either. It was partially my fault because I was having like outbursts, but honestly, from I want to say either 4th or 5th grade to 6th grade, it was ridiculous. Like, that class should not have existed. It was my first time in a special education class. First year, it was great. My 3rd grade year there was great until I got a new teacher. Then it was not so great. And that I could give credit where it's due. She was a good teacher, because that was probably the only special education class that I was in. Actually, it was the only special education class that I was in where I actually learned stuff. She was a good teacher. She, however, was not good at de-escalating and should not have been working in a special education class. She should not have been working with special needs children. Because tell me what part of it makes sense. If a kid rips their paper up and throws it on the ground, you lock them in the room for 3 hours. And then just cause them to go even more out of control. That's not de-escalating, that's escalating. And it caused me to have a lot of trauma too. I couldn't even go to the bathroom with the door shut for a long time. And I used to love school. I used to absolutely love school. And then by the time I started high school in grade 10, because I skipped all of grade 9, by the time I started high school in grade 10, I had pretty much given up and just didn't want to attend. I would attend maybe 2 days a week. Probably out of all the school days, I probably attended about maybe 50 to 100, but it got worse each year. So grade 10, I probably attended 2 to 3 days a week. Grade 11, 1 to 2. And then grade 12 was the worst. Grade 12, I attended 1 or 2 days a week up until the Christmas break, and then from Christmas break all the way to March, didn't attend at all. And then March 11th, which happens to be my birthday, was my last day, and I never attended since. Didn't even attend my own graduation. Although, because I'm in special education, I just get to graduate, so, you know. And I could have done an extra 4 years, but I wasn't gonna do that. I was like, I'm 18, I'm out of here. Could have gone till I was 21, but I wasn't even attending anyway, so there wasn't any point. But if I'm being honest, probably the hardest thing for me was understanding, like, why. Because that's the hardest thing for me, is I always try to make a why out of a situation, even if there isn't one. Like, for example, there is no reason that I should have had to have endured all of that stuff in 4th to 6th grade because of something that wasn't even my fault. And honestly, if I'm being honest, if I saw the teacher again, I wouldn't say anything because I never do. And I've always wanted to. But it's honestly, it's just frustrating. Especially because towards the end of my years at that school, in that class, 6th grade, I was literally in a classroom by myself for an hour. They would come check on me every hour. And I would be in a room by myself. No locked doors, completely open. I can do whatever I want. And several times I have tried to run out in front of the road. Several times. And yet they didn't even bother to put somebody outside the door to make sure that I wouldn't do that. And I'm one of those people in school that if I do not know an answer for a question, I will sit there until I have an answer, and I have to be at least 99% sure it is the correct answer. So basically I frustrate myself, and then I go and try to kill myself. Or I don't try to kill myself, I get so frustrated that I try to run away, and running away meaning running out into the road. Because that's how I handle emotions. And luckily, the room that I was in by myself was right outside the office. So normally, the office staff would be the ones that would have to stop me because my teachers didn't care enough to. What's worse is they even tried to use me as an example one time for another kid. Like, shaming me when I did absolutely nothing wrong. I did absolutely nothing to deserve that embarrassing experience. They literally said, if you keep it up to this other kid, that you're gonna end up like her. And I did absolutely nothing, but I just stood there, of course. I didn't say anything. And it angers me because I wish I said something. What's worse is I was at track and field in either 10th or 11th grade, and I saw the teachers again. The one teacher that I did not see is the one that I hated the most. Both good and bad. Because, well, one of the teachers that was bad, like, there were EAs and then there was a teacher. One of the EAs was retired. She was not very nice. The other EA that I did see at track and field was actually one that I liked, and I feel like the bad stuff that she did because the teacher was telling her to. Whereas the other teacher who had retired, in my opinion, she was just as bad. Because she's the one that would say, you can come out when you're calm. 10 minutes of being calm, can I come out now? No, and then I go right back. So she's no better. Whereas Mrs. Bowman was not like that. But, so she was actually good. She was just doing what she was told to do, basically. But she was the only one that I really saw. And apparently the teacher that I was mentioning, I'm not going to mention her name because I don't like her, but I mentioned Mrs. Bowman's because that was a slip up, but I'm not going to edit this. So, but my teacher who was supposed to be there, I never saw, which kind of glad I didn't see her because I probably would have created a scene. But it really upsets me because I came to find out that they ended up shutting down the whole class because it was getting so bad with the teachers treating the children. And yet all they really did was send them to other special education classes. They didn't even bother re-educating them on how to handle kids like me, or better yet, putting them into regular classes with regular children. Like, they just put them in other special education classes. Now, Mrs. Bowman, I can understand because she, like I said, she was not the problem. It was the teacher. Her on her own would be fine. She was actually really nice. And she wasn't just nice. And she was even nice and calm to me when I was upset. She actually tried to calm me down. She actually tried to help. So with her, she was not the problem. I don't mind her being sent to another special education class, but the other teacher is what bugs me. The teacher that caused everything is the one who literally is now educating other students as a teacher. Wasn't even demoted to an EA. She's still a teacher, teaching in special education. Just aggravates me. But if I'm being honest, I have had so many instances, I don't know if that's the right word, in my life where I basically had to start over. So many times where I thought I was getting better mentally. Basically had to start all over. Something happens and I have to start all over at square one, and it's really frustrating. Like, I used to love going into the grocery store. I have a really hard time doing that now. Because I always feel like people are watching me, even when they're not. You know, honestly, it's really frustrating. That a lot of times when I have to be set back, it's because of no fault of my own. It's because of somebody or something. And it is hard to feel like the universe is not against you. It is really hard not to feel like the universe is against you in those moments. But I have been trying to get a lot better at allowing myself to have those moments. So I don't try to prevent myself from having moments where I feel the universe is against me. I have those. I allow myself to have those. But then after I have those, I remind myself that there are good days and bad days. In my case, there are bad days and decent days right now. Although now, I think I am getting a lot better at realizing that there are some good days. But it is incredibly difficult for me. Back on the topic of Ethan that I was talking about. That was definitely really hard, because I really like him. And although I was starting to lose my love for it, like in 2020, I was starting to miss several weeks, like from 2020 until late 2023, So for 2020 until late, no, sorry, 2020 until late 2024. Yes, late 2024. I was I was going every Thursday back then. Now I go every Tuesday. But I would probably go one Thursday and then miss 2 Thursdays. One Thursday, miss two, which was wasting money because you pay for the entire month. So, like, every time I missed a day, I was wasting $200. However, ever since September of 2024, I have not missed a single week, and I am very proud of myself. And Ethan had been going there. I was off camera that whole time. Wow, okay. But Ethan was there before I ended up starting to go again. It was somebody else, Christina, who I realized I really liked. Now, thankfully, with her, I actually do respite with her, which, for those of you that don't know what respite is, it means she'll take me out places. So I actually get to see her outside of the camp. I get to see her outside of the program. And, so I am very happy about that. And I realized that when I was partnered up with her, that's when I started going every single week. But I also really like hanging out with Ethan. Because I feel like with Ethan, I connect more on a creativity level. We are both very creative. We both like writing. So I do think I'm going to, on days when I can't sleep, maybe do this a little bit more often. Like, just make videos of me ranting. We'll see how it goes. You all will probably hate me. I hate myself right now. I'm annoying myself right now. I'll try to get better at editing, but I'm far from the only person that has these type of videos, though. I've seen other people. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna end it there. But, I do want to end it on, I do have some plans of maybe some future videos when I build my following up a bit more. Like I said, a Q&A, like doing these type of videos more often. Because I do kind of want to do a Q&A because I am a very open person. So, if any of you do want to send in questions or anything, I'll try to write them all down if I can. And then maybe when I get to a certain amount of subscribers, maybe 50 or 100 or something, I'll try to do a Q&A. But, I think I'm gonna end it there, so, yeah. What was I gonna say? Make sure to let me know any, ideas of anything because I do want to focus this channel mostly on mental health and autism. So if any of you have anything specific that you would like me to look into, to talk about, I might have to do some research, but if any of you have any ideas of anything you want me to talk about, or any questions, make sure to let me know. Because I think that's been my problem too, is been having a hard time coming up with ideas for videos, which is kind of why I haven't been posting lately, because they've kind of just been all over the place. But if I do end up posting this, which I probably am going to, do make sure to let me know any ideas for stuff you want me to talk about, or any questions you might have. So, yeah.